my morning, everything, healthy smoothie. But my Vitamix literally, I think it finally conked out, which is crazy. I mean, I don't want to say I abused the thing, but I put it to work like a work truck. And I will say, it still kind of runs, but it just sounds weird. I think it's going to be, and there's metal shavings coming off everywhere, and I think it's just falling apart. So I got this new one. It's from a website called void-system.com. And I liked it because it has a vacuum blender package with it for maintaining more nutrients, less oxidation of your food. It's absolutely nuts, actually. But the truth is, we're about to find out if it can handle the heavy workload of my smoothies, because I don't know, I've never seen any other smoothie quite like mine. And I'm not saying that to toot my own horn, it's just, it's really, really hard on a blender. And so who knows if this thing will even be able to blend it. So we're about to find out. First thing I put in my smoothie, because it is my multivitamin, it's a lot of things actually. And the first thing I'm going to put in there is my Purium powder. It's the best way for me to get my nutrients, basically, along with all the food I eat. But, you know, you do have to supplement a little bit, but I don't like to just supplement with pills. I like to supplement with actual food. And this thing is like just superfoods in just the powdered form, and it's really clean, the amount of pesticides and everything. So this is from a website called ishoppurium.com. People always ask, how do you spell that? Purium as in Mary. And the discount code, if you want it, is uprising144K. But this is how I get my nutrients. That's the first thing. That's really the most important one. The rest of the stuff I put in here, I just kind of put random things that I find out there that I like this is 100% turmeric, all organic. And as I was stating earlier, my Vitamix broke, so I hate to say this actually, I may just be creating a mess right now, because if this thing is not going to be able to blend what I'm going to put in here, it's just going to turn into a mess. And like I said, we're about to find out. This one is green matcha, obviously the health benefits. We can go over all of those if anybody wants to. You can ask questions too, but obviously extremely good for you. Green tea, green matcha, and it actually tastes good too. But the health benefits, and of course I chose organic from Japan. It's 100% Japanese. I've seen the studies on the green tea from China. Yeah, I'm not going to be consuming that. Even if it's organic. The study I saw was actually on organic stuff. So I will not be doing that. Next one, this was from rncstore.com, lab tested. Good stuff, I like it. And it's just ground up apricot seeds. I think people know that they appear to potentially, now I will say I'm not giving, any medical advice. I'm not making any medical claims. I'm not making claims for or against any product or products. But there is a little bit of research suggesting that this might be anti-cancerous. And to be honest, almost every ingredient in here is either anti-cancerous, anti-parasitic. There's a lot of different good stuff that I'm putting in here. Good for your brain health, dementia, alzheimer's. And I recently been getting messages. I kind of get these all the time actually, but people talking about parasites and telling me they've been tested for parasites. I don't think people understand the science of parasites enough, to be quite honest with you, because everybody's got them. So that's why testing, I really don't care about the testing. Unless you have a very specific problem, a very specific parasite. But for me, I just live an anti-parasitic lifestyle, and I do deworming on the regular. And I might even take some stuff today, even on camera actually. But I like to take it with food because it works with actual fats. This is some minerals with a little bit of nutrients. This one again was just a gift. Normally I just put drops, but if somebody gives it to me, I will try it and of course use it because I don't want to waste it. So, but it seems pretty good so far. All right. Next one, what are we gonna put in here? You know what? Let's go with, I'm gonna put a few different things today. Today's gonna be a little different smoothie. Let me grab the greens. See, if you notice, the very first thing I'm putting in my smoothie before I start putting all my food is all the nutrients, all the important minerals, all the important stuff that's going to mix with the food, so that the food, in my opinion, will be more nutritious for the body. Okay, I'll be right back. Hold on. Let's get, well, is that going to be enough? I don't know. Doesn't quite look enough to me. And you know what I'm going to do? This is going to be a little different. I am going to do something a little different. Hold on a second. I'm actually gonna take, since I'm on an empty stomach and I drink my hydrogen water, I'm gonna be taking this product today. This stuff is actually really blowing my mind. If anybody's either worried about cancer or dealing with cancer, now again, I'm not making any claims, so sorry. All I'm saying is, if you want to read the research on Coriolis versicolor, this stuff is specifically from Japan. They have literally found a mushroom that is not only extremely, literally the most powerful of its type ever discovered to date, and it kind of blows everything out of the water. And the effects that it has on your immune system, so your immune system can do really quote unquote magical things. I'll just put it that way. I'm actually very impressed. And you know, it takes a lot to impress someone like me when it comes to health stuff. So let me grab a glass. And of course, I'm gonna personally, like my protocols, I have found ways to enhance a lot of this stuff. I'm gonna do it with hydrogen water. So hold on. I already drank my hydrogen water this morning, so I'm only gonna put a little bit in here. And taking, the protocols are a little different depending on what you're looking for, but I'm gonna do the most powerful protocol with this one. And if you guys want to know the website, I think it's, let's see, it's hman.petclub247.com, I believe. If that's not right and it doesn't work, just message me and I'll try to put a link down there later, because this is live. There's no links right now. So 5 pills is the magic number, and I'm gonna take that right now. Okay, I'm taking that while my stomach is empty, and of course now I'm gonna make the smoothie, so that's why I had time. Okay, moving on. Let's keep going here. Okay, next. Well, of course, greens. In my opinion, we don't need our greens. You know, people always bring up. I know some people really don't like certain subjects when it comes to food. Remember, I'm data driven, so I get information from lots of different places and weigh them all out and then choose a path. And obviously, in my opinion, from all the data I've seen, and I've seen a lot of it, it's pretty clear that you need vegetables. So I know some people think you don't. Some people, I mean, that's the kind of world, you know what, that's so funny, is that that's the kind of world we live in right now. People are so confused. To the point where they don't know who they are. They don't even know what food is healthy. And I will say this is important. And actually, this is something that literally nobody actually knows out there. There's nobody. I will reveal it in the future. I will only reveal it on I'll just say that I'll reveal it in the future. Let's put it that way. I'm not going to reveal it right now. But what I will say, I'll say something about it, is that with the foods that we have available to us, so that means fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, beans, mushrooms, meat, you know, pretty much that's about it. You know, that includes all eggs and seafood and dairy and just everything. Of all those foods, can you find something negative about all of them? Yes, you can pretty much find something negative about every food. That is the fundamental problem, because there is, and this is part of the secret here, that nobody knows this, so that's why I'm being cautious about how I'm going to reveal it right now, because I'm not going to reveal all of it right now. There is actual food that humanity doesn't actually know about. So there's food that humans don't know about that actually is so crazy, next level nutritious. Forget nutrition, it's beyond nutrition. It will change life as we know it on planet Earth. But for right now, and this is just gonna be temporary, I'm gonna have to keep it on the down low. But it will be something that will be exposed in the future. And that's the reason that you can always find something negative about everything, is because there really is no perfect quote unquote stuff out there at this time. Okay. Forgot I had a little bit of flax seeds left, so I'm gonna throw in those. Good fats, good omegas. I'm gonna be doing something anti-parasitic. I'm not gonna name the substance, obviously, because we don't have free speech anymore. I guess that probably sounds kind of silly, but Oh, thanks for the thumbs up. I just saw you guys giving the thumbs up. I'm going to be doing something anti-parasitic, but in order for it to work, because I found data on it, like actual lab testing, it works way better when combined with multi-nutrients, which is the smoothie, and fats. And I'm going to be putting a lot of nuts and seeds and stuff. And ultimately, a lot of really what we call good omegas. Okay, let me grab more greens because I don't think that's enough. Okay, let's see here. And you know what? I'm literally on my last thing of greens again. I consume a lot of these. And I'll tell you one thing. If you want to know about detoxing, I did a video on that the other day, like literally just what I would call a detoxification lifestyle. But today, it's all about the blender. I was a little surprised that my Vitamix conked out. That I like it? Yeah, I love my Vitamix. It's treated me good. Now, does that mean I can't fall in love with another blender? Not at all. I can definitely fall in love with another blender. And we're trying one today. Now, I will say this one has more options. So that's something that is important to me because this one does vacuum blending. And if you don't understand vacuum blending, well, you might want to. If you're trying to get to the ultimate, your ultimate health. I mean, I'm sure you guys already understand. I'm the guy who used to be super sick, found my way out of hell, because it was hell. It was so bad. And needing a blender for me has been absolutely essential, because otherwise there's no way I could eat all this stuff. Okay, I'll be right back. All right, what's next? What's next? And what's next is washing this. So the big thing that I'm all about, and this goes no matter how you eat, by the way. So this goes, I don't care how you're eating. Absolute purity, meaning try to minimize pesticides in your food as much as possible. And the science, again, this is all data, science stuff. The food has to be extremely fresh. So freshness is absolutely key and important. And like I said, this is a new blender. I kind of hope it works because I know how much I load my smoothies up. And it's not like I haven't gotten blenders stuck before or burned them all up. And this particular model, I actually got a chance to ask a lot of questions to the company. I do a lot of research whenever I choose any product. As you guys, the people who know me, I know that I'm like really, really picky about what I pick. And this one has almost the same amount of horsepower as the Vitamix. I will say though, I think it's got better blades. So they are Japanese blades, and that part I believe it's superior to the Vitamix. But it's the vacuum part that's impressive to me, and it sounds stupid. I remember when I first heard about it, looked into it, I thought this is ridiculous. Until you could literally see the difference and clearly taste the difference. And then I actually saw some actual laboratory testing, and then it became very clear that yes, vacuum blending. Now again, you need the proper one because there is actual amount of vacuum, and it does matter. So not all vacuum blenders will be the same. And so this one has different levels, and I turn it up quite a bit. And so the big question is, will the blender take it? That is going to be the big question here. So let's start with greens, and I might have already done too many, but let's just, look what I'm going to do. I'm literally going to, I'm going to shove these in there, and I'm not just going to I'm not going to just do this. Here, check it out. Some people will go like this. They'll just put some greens in there. Maybe not as many as I do, but put some greens and be like, okay, there it is, right? It's all full. Nope. I'm going to really, really pack everything I'm putting in here today because I won't be able to fit everything I want in there. Okay. Because to me, this smoothie, by the way, organic blueberries, awesome for the vascular system, anti-cancerous, what they call anti-angiogenic, and super tasty on top of it all. And the thing is that because if I just make some fluffed up smoothie that's not that impressive, I don't really care about trying to impress, quote unquote. It's more about, let's put some almonds in there now, good omegas, good fats, Always got to have the nuts and seeds, quote unquote. And got to have the good fats, especially for what I'm going to do today, because I'm going to be taking something. I can't name what it is. I'll tell you that it starts with an F, but don't guess, because if you write it in the comments, you know, you'll probably have to remove them or something. Now I'm going to put some raisins in there. Just a little bit, though. It helps with the sweetness if you like your smoothie a little sweeter. I do not recommend putting honey in the smoothie. Some people do that. I just don't. I don't do that. But a little raisins, just for a little sweetness. Plus, they have natural boron, which is something that I'm actually really impressed by. The research on boron is impressive. And in fact, there's a really great supplement from another company that I actually like using it. And it gets a little spendy, but I really like the data on it. But if I can get it for my food, that's going to be what I prefer. Let's see if I can get this a little closer so you guys can actually see. And like I said, I literally maybe putting all this stuff in the blender just to create a mess. Like this thing literally might not blend. I really don't know. I might even overheat the blender. It's hard to say, and that's too bad, but I gotta try. And on top of it, I don't have a lot of choices because the Vitamix is just not really working anymore. Or working, but to me it sounds like it's gonna just shatter into a bunch of little pieces. Sounds like a car that's like knocking engine, bam, 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 doesn't run right. So, but it still kind of semi-runs. We'll see what happens with that guy. First, I want to try this one because, well, to me, as far as I can see, it seems just as good, if not better, due to certain options. Let's put ginger. Ginger's got to be one of the, let's see here. Ed says, "Hi, Master Chef." You know, I wouldn't say I'm a master chef at all, but thank you for the kind comment. You know what's funny is when I was really ill, or even before I got sick actually, my diet consisted of cereal with a lot of milk. It was just cereal and milk. I mean, that was pretty much what I would do in the mornings. Every morning, just cereal and milk. I didn't even drink water, you know, I just get up, cereal and milk. And then, you know, whatever somebody would make, or if I would go out, I just pick up some chicken burger or cheeseburger or taco or whatever, you know. I just would go get some food, and I would do a lot of microwavable food, frozen burritos, frozen lasagnas. I loved cheese. Oh my gosh, I was a cheese monster. Like, oh lordy, I love cheese. I mean, who doesn't, right? But yeah, so I love the cheese. And unfortunately for me, maybe it was just my genetics, maybe it was some bad stuff. I was exposed to a lot of really terrible things as a child. Either way, I clearly got sick, and well, I had no idea how to cook. Nobody ever taught me how to cook. The only cooking I really kind of sort of knew was put a bunch of oil in a pan and just put some eggs in there, or try to just throw some random stuff in there and just kind of quote unquote stir fry it, which honestly, in my opinion, is not good at all. And that is based on data, but it's also based on how it makes me feel. Yes, it tastes delicious. Yes, it's satisfying, but it absolutely makes me feel not very good. So my body must have been sensitive in regards to that for a long time. We're putting in some beets in here now. And so I just didn't know how to eat. I literally just didn't know how. When somebody would be like, "Oh, you gotta eat healthy," I'm like, yeah, you know, I think I eat healthy. I eat burritos that have beans and chicken and beef and whatever. And I don't know. I kind of thought, I don't know what I was thinking, to be quite honest. I just thought I would just not get sick as long as I tried to do some exercise or something. I was out of my mind, I guess. I'll be right back. Hold on. Okay, I'll tell you what's next. We're going to do a little bit of hydrogen water. Let's see here. Does it have to be hydrogen water? No, it can be clean water. But I have access to clean water with hydrogen in it. Might as well put it in there. Why? Because, well, I saw a study which I just couldn't believe it at first. I was like, this can't be real. Where they've actually studied organic food versus non-organic food, and then they also put the food inside hydrogen water. It was crazy for 20 minutes. When did you start eating healthy, says Ed? That's a good question. Here's more omegas, more proteins, more minerals, more fiber, more good fats, chia seeds. Let's see here. When did I actually, quote unquote, turn things around? That's a good question, Ed. I've been eating definitely more healthy for, I got really desperate when I couldn't walk. Okay, I guess that would probably make anybody desperate. And you know, it wasn't even just the ability to walk, it was worse than that. It was the pain with the inability to walk. And I started eating healthy. It's been now about, I think it's been like a decade. I think it's been about 10 years, I think. So that's when I really started getting to it. But of course, I've been fine tuning it. I've been trying to, I realized that a lot of products out there are just, unfortunately, in my opinion, horrible. And I was trying to, you know, buy different supplements and do different things and different types of water filters. And I mean, all sorts of stuff. It took time to figure it all out, which is why I make the channel to hopefully make it easier for you. How long does the water hold the hydrogen after it's poured into a container? I plan on taking it to work to sip on throughout the day. I mean, you can sip on it, but hopefully you watch my protocol on video 337, because sipping on it is probably not going to be the best way to go about it. But the hydrogen water will pretty much be gone. Now, it depends on a lot of factors, from movement, temperature, atmospheric pressures, yada, 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 and even down to how you make it. So the way that I make it, which is actually the most stable way of making hydrogen known to man at this time, and obviously very advanced technology, and it will only last about an hour. But what you don't realize is, you're thinking, okay, great, it lasts an hour. No, in 1 hour, all the hydrogen's gone. So that means, roughly, because I could name off the temperatures. The temperature of the water matters too. There's a lot of factors. But what I'll tell you is that means in half an hour, half the hydrogen's gone. And at that point, you're kind of at what, you know, you have to have what's called therapeutic levels, or, you know, otherwise it's not going to really do a ton for you, in my opinion, if you're trying to be really serious about it. But yeah, in half an hour, half of it will be gone. In about 15 minutes, 1/4 of it will be gone. So if you've ever seen the way that I do it, and I've shown it many times on camera, but basically in the morning I get up and I clean my mouth. You have to, you know, that's part of my protocol. It seems stupid, but you have to brush your teeth with no toothpaste, by the way, just water. And make sure to brush not just your teeth though. You brush the inner surfaces of your mouth, the roof, the inner lining of your mouth, the tongue, because the Japanese have research on this, and it shocked me, but this is why I read data. They found that we literally, it appears that we grow potentially some cancer-causing bacteria in our mouth, and all sorts of other bad bacteria. And when you wake up in the morning and just eat something or drink something, you actually inadvertently swallow that. You do that for a day, not a big deal. You do that for your lifetime, or for years and years and years, it most likely is going to have an effect. So I always start out by cleaning the mouth. Then, of course, I start my day with the absolute cleanest water. So as much as I love hydrogen, you're using water as a carrier, and the water has so many contaminants. In fact, I have a laboratory report over here. The stuff that's in the water is honestly mind-blowing. I mean, I knew that water wasn't that good, but until I saw the lab reports, freaking blew my mind. I can't even fathom the fact that this stuff is not only in the water, but to me, it's a no-brainer that it's clearly going to affect our health. And especially, and very unfortunately, and maybe we're seeing this in the world already, is young children. So that's really kind of wild. Have you ever heard of tried DMSO? Yes, I have some. Yes, of course I've used it and tried it many times, depending on, you know, what you're trying to use it for. Barbara says, when you rinse your veggies, e.g. celery, what kind of water do you use to rinse them? I'm just washing them with just normal water. You know, I know that you can get really crazy, and I used to do that. I would use the cleanest water there is, actually, in order to just wash my vegetables. But I actually read some scientific studies on that too, and just washing them and really rubbing on the vegetables like I do removes almost 80% of the pesticides on it, which was kind of impressive. And otherwise, if you overcomplicate it, which is fine if you want to, but you just kind of can create a lot of work for yourself. And if you can't keep up the pace, then eventually you just give up, and then you're just, you know, whatever you do. But for me, I have to create something that's doable, quote unquote achievable for me, that I can do every day. I used to do juicing and stuff, and man, that was way too much work, way too expensive. There's no way I could keep up with, you know, doing that for quote unquote the rest of my life. I just couldn't do it. And so that's why I did the smoothies. But then of course I started learning about fiber and the science of it. The Japanese have literally the best research on fiber right now, and nobody even knows about it. They don't understand yet how important it is and the new discoveries that have been made. But yeah, super important. So I am definitely just doing it this way. I've been doing it this way, and it's absolutely changed my life. So it's this clean water, hydrogen, and these have just, it's just amazing. Okay, so now we're gonna see if this blender's gonna work. All right, let's see here. I am going to wet the edges of my vacuum system here. This is like the motors and the pumps and the lid. And this thing is really, really well built. I haven't even charged it once. It's got these like super, super high-tech batteries. I think they're like literally Tesla batteries from what I heard. And you charge them once and it's like you kind of almost never need to charge them again. They're awesome. Okay, so here's the big question. Did I put enough water? You know what? I think I'm gonna put a little bit more, just a tiny bit. Because if I don't get enough water in there, and this blender literally might just get stuck and burn out. I'm literally might just break this thing right in front of you guys, which is gonna be really sad. But we gotta see if this thing can take the beating that the hydrogen man's gonna put on it. Okay, here we go. Let's turn this thing on. And let's hit the vacuum button. I gotta stop it before the water gets into the pumps. Whoa, stop. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see that, but the water, just because it's sucking it up, and it stopped right there. The pressure is pretty good. In fact, look, it's clearly stuck on here because, yeah, this thing is stuck on here. So sometimes I'll blend it a little bit and do a little more vacuum, but let's just see if this thing can even do it. All right, guys, moment of truth. Moment of truth. Okay, first I'm gonna actually turn off the vacuum system because I don't want it turning on while it's blending. Sometimes it'll do that. And here we go. Whoa, that's the wrong button. Well, jolly be golly, that seems like did it really easily. All right, so I'm gonna turn this back on now because the water level dropped. And I'm gonna turn on the vacuum system again. Watch this. Oh, and stop. So it's getting really close to the pumps. There's a gauge on the top here that shows me what kind of pressure it's creating. So it's really high. So the science wants you to be at a certain level, which is like a 16. It's like a 17. So this is plenty good. Even 12 would be good, but I'm going a little extreme here. Let's blend this again. Let's see how good this works. That seems pretty good, actually. Let me grab the secret ingredients. There's 3 of them for ultimate health, and I'm going to add it to this in a second. So give me a second. Okay. Whoops, I should turn off the vacuum system. I forgot to do that. Whoops. See, that's not a good idea because when the pressure drops, it'll turn on again and it'll suck up the smoothie right into the pumps, and that will damage it. So I shut it off when I'm blending, or at least I'm supposed to. I clearly screwed that up. Right? Why do you get rid of the air? And it asks Sarah Demari. Okay, this is exactly why. Hold on, let me grab one. Like I said, I want to get these ingredients going. So basically, when you're actually blending something, you're oxidizing the food. This actually sucks the oxygen out of it. So when you're blending, it doesn't oxidize the food nearly as much, and it literally will taste different. And I looked at a nutritional study that they did, and it holds the nutrients in the food way higher. It's actually really impressive. If it wasn't that impressive, I wouldn't go through the trouble. And of course, for my body, it's worth it. I got to treat myself right here. All right, let's try this again. opinion, that's plenty. So, okay, now this is the tricky part, but I'm gonna show you 3 ingredients, 2 of which well, 1 absolutely has to be necessary in my opinion. The other 2 just really enhance health. But let me grab the little trick I realized. I'm gonna show you guys a trick that even the company who created this didn't even know. I'm gonna do one more for good measure. I mean, it seems pretty blended to me. Performed well. Okay, awesome. Okay, so now you're not gonna get this thing off. So that's the thing. You're not gonna get this thing off. I don't care how strong you are. I cannot pull this thing up. There's just no way. I don't care who you are. You can't do it. An elephant would have to stand and it'll probably just break the corners. So how you do it is you release the pressure. There's a pressure valve. You'll hear it. So that's the first part. But even then, if you still try to take it off, it still won't come off because that vacuum, and if I lifted it again, it releases a little pressure again. So what I realized that you have to do, now this is the trick I created, is I took a little clean tissue, fold it up, and then I lift the valve, and then I put it right under the valve so it stays open. So that way it doesn't close and create a vacuum again. Then I use my thumb and I'm gonna put it on here, except it's just it's a little sharp. It doesn't cut me, but it just kind of, yeah, it's not the best thing to my thumb after many times. So then I put my thumb on there with my middle finger on the tip of this, and I just pull on the corner. Wow. And it's relatively easy. I mean, it's a little hard, but not like crazy hard. And I will tell you, I used to have such bad inflammation, arthritis. I couldn't lift up a cup of water. That's how, well, pathetic it was. And, you know, now I have really good hand strength, and the inflammation's down. And I mean, I attribute that to the clean water and hydrogen, but the diet, I think, has also helped a lot. But I did the clean diet, and it didn't solve all my problems at all. Hydrogen was the magic piece. And of course, it helps with absorbing of nutrients. So, in my opinion, and that's been what my blood work has shown. My doctors are literally blown away. My doctor literally told me, actually I have more than one doctor, but the most recent one, they literally said they've never seen blood work like it. I mean, decades of looking at blood work, and they're like, how are you getting your nutrients like this? This is ridiculous. They thought I was taking some new supplement or something. And she wanted to know what it was. And I said, I mean, I just use the purine powder with the hydrogen, and it really helps with the absorption of nutrients. And actually fiber, just so you know, that's actually key. It's one of the secrets that the Japanese discovered, is that fiber is actually helping you absorb nutrients. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pour part of this in here. Yep, I'll tell you, it tastes so different. It's wild. I made the same exact smoothie side by side, and it's amazing. So now, here's the magic ingredient. In my opinion, you cannot have ultimate health without this one ingredient. Now, obviously there's a ton of nutrients in this, so you need all of them. But vitamin D3 with K2. Now, I get it in its ionic form. And this stuff, I mean, reading the science about it, but also the research, there is the #1 doctor in the world who runs a hospital, started doing things with vitamin D, and the results were so amazing. He couldn't believe it. He's like, this is nuts. And so I could go into some of it if you really want, but let's just say it's really good for your immune system, really good for your bone health, really good for your brain health. In my opinion, if you're trying to prevent the big C word, in my opinion, really important. On and on it goes. Bone health on top of all that too. Okay, next ingredient. This one is, you don't have to. Hey, Greg, do you soak your walnuts? Yes, typically I do, but not every single time. It just depends on my schedule. This one right here is the best protein, in my opinion, probably known to man, other than like natto. They're really close. Best balanced omega-3s and 6s there is. Really good amount of protein, really good fats, and then the minerals in this sucker and the nutrients. It's just unbelievable. It's almost like a multivitamin. And yes, you might test positive on a drug test potentially eating this stuff, but whatever. It's so good for you, it's ridiculous. And that's organic hemp hearts. Obviously comes from the hemp plant. And then there's one more ingredient that really, for me, changes everything. So let me move the camera a little bit, and I'm actually gonna take a sip of this. Let's see how it came out. Oh yeah, that's tasty this morning. It worked, yay. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with our new blender. I like the vacuum system. I mean, again, you can really taste the difference. That's the part that boggles the mind. Now I'm going to show you the last ingredient actually. Hold on a second. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Just a lazy weekend. Okay. Last ingredient while I'm eating my smoothie. Smoking my smoothie. Blending, whatever. I'm gonna smoke this smoothie. Okay. And last ingredient is the hydrogen. So I actually discovered, this is actually one of my techniques. Nobody really does it. I looked at some data and it only makes perfect sense. But that's to inhale pure hydrogen. I would not do it with oxygen because I'm trying to prevent the over-oxidation actually. So that would not be ideal. The science clearly is on pure hydrogen, and I combine that while I'm actually drinking the smoothie. Better nutrient absorption, minimizing any negative effects from the food. What if they have a little bit of pesticides? It's pretty much impossible to be like perfect when it comes to such things. And then beyond that, that's pretty much it. So, all right, guys, that was it. Unless you have any other questions, I'll let you guys go. Came out good today. Let's see here. Oh, T1 writer said, not only how long does the hydrogen last, but if you were to put it in a special container, which I don't have here right now, there is a special container from a website called holyhydrogen.com that if you put hydrogen water that's made a certain way, like the way I make it very stable, you put it in this pouch, it appears to last for like 24 hours roughly, unless you refrigerate it, then it lasts even longer. That's the only way you can take that water with you, by the way, Mr. T1 Rider. I don't know why I thought he's from the South. T1 Rider. Okay. I don't know if there's any other questions. Okay, guys. Oh, 1 second. Let me write. Okay, I'll wait. Breeze has a question. Ed says, peace. Hey, I'm down with peace. Peace be with everybody, right? The world's kind of a crazy place right now. I wish people were more forgiving and kind and peaceful. Wow, this turned out really good. I thought I was gonna overheat that blender, and it did great. Just sad. I miss my Vitamix. I like having both of them, but that's what you gotta do. You know what I'm gonna do? I've been doing this a lot lately, but since I'm reading questions, I'm actually gonna do some stretching here while I'm reading. I'm sorry, guys, but I gotta do my stretching. It feels really good. Okay. I live in Sweden and seems hard to get the Purium powder. Yeah, I know. Do you know any other good alternatives for green powders? Well, the one I used to use, I think it's good, but I don't think it's the best, though it's still really good. And that's from a company called Garden of Life, if you can find that one. Just make sure it's what's called a raw meal. Don't get their protein powders or whatever else, you know, just, it's called raw meal. Look at the ingredients, they're really good. And look at the, pretty much the ingredients, yeah. And so that would be the one that I would go for. There is a new one. The guy who originally created that raw meal opened up a new company because he was bought out. And I don't like a lot of Garden of Life products. There's some though that I still like. But like a lot of companies will have like one good product, maybe two, and then they'll have like 30 or 40 other ones just just to sell stuff and like cheap stuff, you know, depending on, just to try to fit everybody's budget rather than trying to get something that's really of quality. So hopefully that answers your question. And all right, guys, I think I'm gonna let you go. Thanks for watching. We got to see that blender did work. And I'll see you guys next time on the next one.